Drink it in, man.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread! Cornbread! Cornbread!
Drink it in, man.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread!
Detroit Koolaid. Detroit Koolaid drinkers, what's going on, everybody? It's your host, Derek Oakrey. I am back. I apologize last week. I don't know what hit me, but I was basically laid up for the whole week, the weekend. Back. I'm ready to talk some Lions football. We had hard knocks. We had a first preseason game. Lots to get into today, so let me fill up your cup, everybody.
Drink it in, man.
Side of cornbread.
Cornbread!
We got to make it a double.
Cornbread!
You know how we do. So let's do this. I got like a very rough couple bullet points. I'm going to see if I can entertain you here on the show. Give you some hot takes, give you some rants. We got some new sound drops to talk about. We got voicemail from the Detroit Koolaid Cast Listener Line. And I will give you my take on Hard Knocks and the preseason. So let's get into that, man. Lions football is back, baby. Let's do this thing. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Detroit Koolaid Cast. So, right off the top, I mean, the Lions had to, by the time you're hearing this, they had to cut down to 85, I believe it is. They had to get release 5 players, a couple backup tight ends, a couple injured players, things like that. Nothing very big. Griffin, the tight end that they brought in from the Saints, was let go. That was the name of note that I saw. Still hanging on to their young talent, still hanging on to those veterans. I saw some names put out there that should be let go, and I was kind of surprised, but the Lions are hanging in there with a lot of those players right now. And, it'll be interesting to see who kind of makes this final team and whatnot. But just a little trim down on the roster. Like I said, we'll get into the preseason game here in a bit. I hope you guys loved Hard Knocks. I mean, I just think that was so great to get a look-see. We'll talk about that as well. Let's do this. Let's have a little fun right here off the top of the show, because we got a couple new players, a couple new people, a couple new things that need sound bites. So what I want to say is, first off, you guys know we've been kind of gathering up Kool-Aid drops because everybody's talking about the Detroit Kool-Aid, Lions Kool-Aid. I mean, I can't say it's a coincidence that you hear it every other word on sports talk radio, all over town. Everyone's hyped about this football team. And the podcast is growing by leaps and bounds, so everybody's talking about that Detroit Kool-Aid, especially, Gator on 97.1.
Okay, Kool-Aid drinker and, cornbread muffin and all that.
Cornbread muffin, make it a double, bro. And then you got this drop recently by Kang on the same show.
I don't know, the Kool-Aid, cornbread, whatever you want to call it, man.
Sure, yeah. You got Karsh getting in there at the end. I mean, of course, everybody's talking about the Kool-Aid, the cornbread, and whatnot.
I don't know, the Kool-Aid, cornbread, whatever you want to call it, man.
I mean, drinking it in.
Drink it in, man.
So we got those, and I just want to tell you guys, if you hear local shows drop Kool-Aid, if you hear them talking about cornbread, Lions cornbread, everybody drinking that Kool-Aid, shout me out. Let me know where it is. I'll try to grab it for the show. I think I got 3-4 tucked away that I got to find time to edit out and get up here on the soundboard. So do that for me. Help me out. And we got this guy. I don't know if you've heard of him. His name's he's wearing the number 4. His name is DJ Chark. I mean, I don't know if you guys are loving the hype like I am about this player, but he's making plays all day, every day in practice. I saw him in the preseason game, and this guy is exactly what I've been telling you he is. He's a big, swaggy, silky athlete. I mean, what's he run? About 6'2", 6'3", runs a 4.3. He's about 23. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's got it all going on, and I just think there's so much good going on with him that we got to get him a drop. And there's only one song that we can do to get him a drop, and I want to give you guys a couple options. I was toying around with this jam, and I'm like, we got to get a good drop for DJ Chark. So right when I hit this beat, you're gonna know what it is. Here's the first option right here. I mean, I thought, like, what if it's just that beat with the yeah at the end? So that's an option for Mr. Chark. We also have this.
Right about now, it's your boy, you heard?
a little bit extra on the end, because your boy is going to be number 4, DJ Chark, when he gets playing. There's absolutely no question. Now, we have this as an option as well. See, let's go with this cut.
Go DJ, that's my DJ.
Very, very simple, very short. Or this is the 4th option.
Go DJ, that's my DJ. Go DJ, yeah.
So do you like the go DJ with the repeat and the yeah at the end? Do you just like the very simple but perfect version for this player?
Go DJ, that's my DJ.
Or do you just like the beat when he makes a play, or when I talk about him on the show? Do I just drop this?
Right about now, it's your boy, you heard?
I don't know. I'm debating all of that, but Ford Field, I know you're on this as well. We better have this on the loudspeaker when our guy makes a play. I bet hear something to this effect.
Go DJ, that's my DJ.
Better hear that when he gets a first down. That's all I know. So we're having fun with sound drops. I'm going to get in. I have a hot take about the Aiden Hutchinson Billie Jean version performance that we saw on Hard Knocks. I'll get to that here in a moment. I pulled up the whole song. I actually watched the official video. One of the most odd videos, makes no sense, horrible I mean, I know it was like 30 some years ago or whenever that was made, but the video is not good. The performance by Hutch, quality, no doubt. We'll get into that. So, all I'm thinking is that, like, is it just me, or is Ford Field, this going to be something that starts happening at ball games in the intermissions where the, the stadium just drops this? Are they just going to drop the hook and the place is going to go crazy? Or here on the pod, when I talk about number 97, you guys know who he is, Aiden Hutchinson. Do I also need to play this from time to time? No words, but when you hear that, you know that 97 is creeping up on your quarterback. When you hear that, you know there might be a TFL going down. Or there might be some crazy singing and dancing and all the above by either Hutch, Lions fans, or everybody included. So we'll have to mess around with that. And how about this guy that showed up on preseason game 1? Bunches o' Funches. I know some of you hit me up on Twitter. You guys can find me at Derek Okrie. That's spelled DEREK. OKRIE. You're like, Okrie, your boy Funches is making plays. And I'm like, oh yes, plays in bunches o' Funches. I mean, don't tell me that doesn't sound like a delicious cereal. I mean, I think that's got big time potential. That's a free marketing idea for someone to probably make millions off of it. But I definitely like what Bunches o' Funches is doing for the Lions. I mean, some fun stuff there, no question. All right, so we had a little fun off the top, just kind of trying to entertain you guys, talking some Lions. Let's do this. I wanted to get this guy in. This guy was going to call on the call-in show. If you guys didn't hear that, go back a week or two and pull up the live call-in Koolaid Cast, where he had some great calls. Me and Chops talked with some of the great listeners of the show. We took live calls. Again, you guys can call in, you can text in, you can leave a voicemail, 989-272-3484. That's 989-272. Kevin Smith, Herman Moore. But this guy wanted to get in, and he couldn't do it live, but he's done it here. He left a voicemail. And this is my guy. You guys probably know him on Twitter. He's always put out Lions content. He's got strong takes. His name is Forrester. Let's get him on the show.
What's going on there, buddy? This is Forrester finally coming at you. I know we've been trying to link up, try and do a live show, but, life's busy. And I figured I'd give a little shout out to you. Love what you do. I was just curious to see what you thought on some of the rumors revolving around Mason Rudolph. For me, I'm just not sold on that decision, not because I don't think he's a clear upgrade at the backup quarterback position, but I just don't think it's in the Lions' best interest to trade assets for a guy that realistically only wins us one or two more games, in all honesty. So I would rather the Lions, if something happened to Goff, stick with Blau, definitely not Boyle, and if anything, put us in good position for a good quarterback next year. We're not a playoff team really, and we have no need to press on with a backup quarterback that is most likely going to be gone after this year anyways, because this is his fourth and final year of his rookie contract. So just want to get your thoughts on it. You know where I stand. Keep doing what you do, baby, and keep injecting the Kool-Aid into my veins.
Forrester, appreciate that, man.
Drink it in, man.
I'm always serving up that Kool-Aid. Let me give him a shout out. The Twitter handle is at FSOLMEN12. Definitely go give him a follow. Puts out quality Lions content. Loves his football team. But Forrester, I got big time issues with this voicemail you left me. First of all, the rumor innuendo about Mason Rudolph. I mean, is that what we were talking about? Mason Rudolph?
Who is this Rudy Poo?
I saw this come out too, and I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, this guy, he had a decent draft profile coming out. He went to the Steelers, and they drafted his boy James Washington, too. You thought, oh, what a combo once Big Ben rides off in the sunset. Mason Rudolph has not been good. He still has the size you look for at quarterback, but he's done nothing special. Now, is he an upgrade of what we currently have? I mean, I guess, but like you said, do I want to give up assets? No. But then the issue I really got with you is that you're saying you want Blau over Boyle. And like, I've said it multiple times in the show, like, David Blau's a great human being. I love him as my neighbor. He has a tremendous wife who's an Olympian. But I've seen enough of this guy, man. He can't be like the starting quarterback if we have an injury. It just can't happen. Like, Tim Boyle, I've changed my take on Tim Boyle. Like, I still have issues with Tim Boyle, but he looks like a backup quarterback to me. He got a fresh new haircut. He got rid of the bonnet that he wore on his head, or the bandana, or whatever you want to call it. He's got a fresh do. He looks the part. He actually threw the football around the yard a little bit. It actually looked half decent at times. Like, Tim Boyle's the kind of guy that I don't mind maybe just holding a clipboard. And if he's got to go in for a pinch, maybe he can get me by for a quarter or so. But I've seen enough, I believe, of David Boyle. Again, I would love him as my friend. I'm sure he's a great human being. But I mean, the Lions in general don't have a good backup quarterback situation, but you got some people out there in the media that are like, oh, you need a big-time backup quarterback in case something happens. If your starting quarterback goes down in the league, your season's over. You know what I mean? It's very hard to piece it together regardless of who is back there. I mean, the only way to do it is to draft a young cat and maybe play the vet when the vet stumbles or gets hurt. You put the young guy in, it gives you a reason to kind of bumble around for half a season or whatever. So Forrester, I appreciate the call, and I get your sentiment that, like, it's not worth doing, giving up assets or whatnot, but your take of Blau over Boyle, I'm not a big fan of. I also, just don't know where this is coming from. Somebody reported like it was fact. I think the tweet was, I'm hearing by the end of the week, Mason Rudolph will be traded to the Lions. It was like, yeah, I don't think so. Check the source for sure on that. And it's just not a player that I want to invest in or that I think would be some big help here. He's not going to be the future quarterback of the Lions right now. We don't need a backup. So, yeah, definitely don't think that's any big uptick for the roster. But that brings me to a bigger rumor innuendo, bigger fish to fry here. And that's all the people out there that are talking about, should we go out and get Roquan Smith? Yeah, you guys know what that is. That's like Smith with 18 F's at the end. Now, you know how I pronounce it since Kevin Smith? It's part of the number, the call-in line with number 34. That's how I used to say Kevin Smith. No, I don't want to trade anything or pay Roquan Smith. Like, yes, we need linebackers. Yes, this guy's a good linebacker. What do you think? The Bears are just going to hand us a young player at a position of need, and then we're going to pay him, $15+ million over a 4 or 5 year deal for a middle linebacker that can make tackles? No, that's not happening. This is the old Lions game of, is he a fit? Anyone that gets cut or has some type of gripe, we want to try to see if he fits on this football team. No, we don't want Roquan Smith. No, he's not worth paying that money because linebackers or running backs fall in the same boat for me of even if they're good, we can't take them high in the draft. We can't pay them. We'll find them how the Lions are trying to find them right now. A bunch of guys in a pot of gumbo and see who comes out. Maybe you find a couple guys that can play. So let's put Roquan Smith and Mason Rudolph rumors to bed. Now, a couple more news and notes before I get into Hard Knocks and the preseason, and that's simply this. Josh Pascal. This guy's getting so much hate by Lions fans. This happens all the time. First of all, this happens all the time where the Lions take a guy in the high second round, and for some reason they're hurt right away, or they miss their whole rookie season. I don't understand. I mean, we're going back to Mikhail LaSure. We're going back to Derek Williams. We're going back to, Titus Young. We're going back to Javid Best. All these guys. Well, Javid Best is a late first rounder, but you get the point. They keep taking all these players in the second round, high second round, and they're always hurt. And people here's my thing with Josh Pascal. I still think he's a really good player at a position of need. It's going to be fun to watch and a player this team needs. So I get it that we don't like a player that we're hoping will help this team being hurt. But would you rather him be hurt in, June, July, and August, or down the playoff stretch, or late in the season when you need him? Like, right now it's fine that he's not playing. I know people want to see him. I know they want that instant gratification that the draft pick is a ball player. But please don't hate on this guy and act like this was some bad draft pick and, you could have took this guy, should have took that guy. Why? Because Josh Pascal has missed a couple mini camps and the first couple weeks of training camp? Get out of here with that. Come on, man. That's a bad take. That's a jumping to the gun. Just like Lions fans, just like we do when someone makes a few plays in a game and you want to put him in the Hall of Fame. Calm down. Josh Pascal is going to be very fun to watch for multiple years on this team. And I'm not worried at all that, he's injury prone. We knew he was going to be hurt. No, you didn't. The thing I don't understand, too, is how does a guy have a sports hernia? Like, some of these injuries, I see some of these vets, like, they go the whole offseason, they're out in Cancun, and, they're out there wakeboarding and at the club and whatnot, and then when camp starts, it's like, oh, man, I got to get my knee scoped. Oh, got to get my wrist fixed. It's like, why didn't you do that, I don't know, 6 months ago, maybe right when the season ended? I'm sure that didn't just creep up on you all of a sudden a week ago, so some of these injuries are crazy, but Josh Pascal must have popped up. I'm assuming he hopefully injured it in minicamp. It wasn't something they knew about or some pre-existing thing. And he's getting it taken care of, and I'm sure he'll be back. I'm expecting him to be back maybe towards that last preseason game. And here's a quick conspiracy theory. What if the Lions know Josh Pascal is such a beast that they want to kind of hide him and hide Jamo, and all of a sudden, like early in the season, you add these two players plus some other beasts up front, plus our offensive talent, plus a young, hungry defense, and all of a sudden we're surprising teams. I mean, that could be part of it too. It's just like, let's not show all of our cards right now, and there's no reason that Josh Pascal needs to be showing the world everything he can do. So that's on my mind. Another thing that's on my mind is a guy named, I don't know if you've heard of him, Jameson Williams. Now, I got bones to pick and also a hot take real quick on Jameson Williams. First of all, when he wore number 18 and said it was kind of a nod to Randy Moss, it was kind of a reverse Calvin number, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, man, I like that. And it looks swaggy on him. I like the 18. You know, Justin Jefferson's wearing 18. I think Jameson Williams is going to kind of be our Justin Jefferson. I liked it. Then out of the blue, Jamo says he's rocking the number 9. And guess what happened? All the Stafford lovers came out. Now, I've been quoted millions of times on the show saying, I like Matt Stafford. He was a good quarterback here. He was fun to watch, but I didn't feel he was ever going to win. And when they got rid of him, it was time to go. Happy for him that he won a Super Bowl. So this isn't me whining, complaining that, oh, you know, how dare you give away Stafford's number? And that's our quarterback. That used to be our quarterback, right? But 9 is just a bad wideout number. I don't know why you want a single digit so bad, Jamo. I don't know why you had to pick that when you could have just waited a year and probably got a much better number overall. But here's the counterpoint. Maybe this is tremendous. Maybe this is like a tribute and just adding on to number 9 being a classic number in Honolulu blue and silver. Maybe Jamo is going to be the reason we remember number 9 in addition to Stafford. Maybe he's saying, like, I'm basically the player you got plus some first-round picks and extra for Matt Stafford. Let's do this. And I think he could put it to bed. I think if he balls out in 9, people could be much less to bring up number 9 or, oh, we miss Matt Stafford or, oh, boo-hoo. You know, they just be like, Jameson Williams, number 9 for the Lions, is a hell of a ball player. We're so glad he's on our team. So I've kind of went back to that now as like, even though I don't love the number on a wide receiver, when he makes plays and when he's flying down the field scoring touchdowns, I think it's actually going to be fun. And maybe even Brad Holmes and company were like, you know what you should do? Wear number 9. Wear number 9, Jamo. Like maybe they want to put it to bed too by doing that. I don't know. There's a lot going on with that. It's kind of shocking, but I think it could be really fun. And here's my last news and notes, and then we'll take a break, get our great sponsors in here, and then talk Hard Knocks and preseason. There's scuttlebutt. There's things being talked about. Is the wide receiver for the Lions, you guys have heard of him. You know I've dubbed him on the show, ARSB, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Is this guy the next Cooper Kupp? I'm here to tell you, man. This guy is getting rave reviews. You heard me come out. I battled with Logan Lamorandier, Sports Illustrated, all Lions, about how much I love this pick and how I thought it was perfect spot. And Logan wanted to tell me he was 118 on his draft board or whatever, and he was okay, but he could have taken this guy or that guy. Guy balled out at the end of last year, and people are just loving him. He catches 202 balls after every practice. He's no nonsense. He's smart. He's going to be a slot machine receiver on this team. He can catch it short, intermediate, long. He can score touchdowns. He can block. I mean, I'm here for it, that this may be our Cooper Kupp here for the Detroit Lions. There hasn't been any ho-hum. Nobody seems worried about this guy. The sky's the limit type of thing. So I'd expect another really quality season from start to finish. And in years 3, 4, I mean, look out. I could really see this guy being that upper echelon receiver in the top 20 of the league that is just, 100-catch guy, 1,000-plus yard guy, finding the end zone more often than not. Like, please don't sleep on this guy. He seems like he's getting overhyped to some degree now, but I'm telling you, I think the hype is real. I think Brad Holmes found a guy that's smart, tough, catches everything, all business, and wants to be great. and that's ARSB for the Detroit Lions. So keep a lookout for that as well. So, all right, everybody, served up some Kool-Aid.
Drink it in, man.
A little bit of cornbread.
Cornbread!
Got some sound bites in, got a voicemail, got some hot takes, some things to laugh about, hopefully. Let's get our great sponsors in here. Please go check out Reality Sports Online. Please, everybody, if you love fantasy football, go check out PFF All 22. What a great platform that is, and what great guys those guys are that have created that and building that up. If you listen on a non-iPhone, go check us out on Spotify. That's the easiest way to do it. If you want to start your own pod, if you're like, man, I'm so much funnier and so much more intelligent about the Lions than this goof, you can go to anchor.com and start your own pod if you want to do that and show me up, or realize that it ain't that easy and you can't hang with the Koolaid Cast. I mean, one of the two is going to happen if you try to do that, but definitely go check out our people at Anchor, Reality Sports Online, PFF All 22. Who knows? All the other great sponsors we have here on the show that keep this thing rolling. And just thank all the listeners out there. You guys are great. You're always getting at me on Twitter. Shoot me those DMs. Shoot me questions. Wanting to know what's up with the team. You know, we're getting random text messages to the line just saying, let's go Lions. Hyped up. Excited about this team. I love it all. So, everybody, let's take a quick break. I'll be right back.
All right, everybody. This goes out to my fantasy football fans out there. Now, you probably heard about Reality Sports Online, the most powerful fantasy sports platform where owners can build and manage their fantasy team like a real NFL general manager. But the question is, have you tried it? I mean, we're talking free agency, multi-year contracts, rookie drafts, multi-team trades. You can put franchise tags on guys. It's as close as you're going to get to being an NFL GM. But do you think it sounds complicated? It's not. I'm here to tell you it's the best thing about Reality Sports Online is it's just more fun than your normal fantasy league, but it doesn't take barely any more time. After all this, are you still not sure? I mean, come on now. You can test your general manager skills by going over to Reality Sports Online, call it RSO. Please go check out realitysportsonline.com right now.
All right, Kool-Aid drinkers, back from the break. As I always say, thank you so much for listening to the pod. Thank you for visiting those sponsors. Thank you for supporting the show. My guy Kyle Dahmer out there is always supporting the show, sending us a little donation, drinking that Detroit Kool-Aid. We got Paul Jackson. Gosh, got some great family members of mine that just love the show and are supporting what I'm doing. We got all the loyal Lions fans, Kool-Aid drinkers out there, all you guys in the Detroit Koolaid Cast Fantasy League. I appreciate all of you. Fill up that cup and let's get going.
Drink it in, man.
All right, so let's talk Hard Knocks. And if we're going to talk Hard Knocks, there's only one guy to talk about, and that's Dan freaking Campbell. I mean, Dan Campbell. You want to know why I love this guy so much? You know, I can go down and recite all the sound bites and play him for you if I wanted to that he did in Hard Knocks, but I want to tell you why this guy's becoming so great. I haven't met a person that isn't like, man, I love our head coach. Man, I'm rooting for Dan Campbell. He's the perfect guy to lead the Lions. And this is why. Dan Campbell is an alpha. This guy's an alpha male, first and foremost. This guy loves football. You can tell when he talks. He loves the game. He loves his team. The other thing I've said before, and it's ringing true and true, especially on Hard Knocks, this guy's the real deal, man. He's not out there trying to be somebody he's not. He's not trying to give you all these answers like that everything's top secret here with the Lions. This guy's real, he's open, and he's incredible. And Dan Campbell is much smarter than most people give him credit for. I think this guy is very tactful, very calculated, and very aggressive, both behind the scenes, and you're getting to see that in Hard Knocks where, yeah, he may laugh with you, he may tell some jokes here and there, but when he hits between those lines, man, he's trying to get his team better. He's pushing them. He's wanting the absolute best and very calculated at how he calls plays, how he runs his team, how he's trying to get them physically and mentally right to get going. So I love everything about this guy, man. So that intro speech where he talking about dragging people out to the deep water and burying people and, you know, being able to laugh throughout the show and gather his team up and tell him how much he cares about him and why he's trying to get him physically and mentally tough by putting the pads on early and going live tackling. I absolutely love everything about it. There's nobody out there that doesn't love Dan Campbell. I mean, Pat McAfee has an incredible Dan Campbell impersonation, as well as all his boys. I love how Pat McAfee just has like 6 dudes hanging around on the periphery of his show, and they're just like all of us, where if you get around like 5 of your buddies, you just have all these inside jokes, and you're just talking sports. Like, I love that show when I get a chance to check it out. It's so funny. They love Dan Campbell. I love Dan Campbell. I think Detroit and everybody around the country not only loves Dan Campbell, but they're going to love this Lions team as this Hard Knocks on HBO progresses. Now this is where I get to my hot take about Aiden Hutchinson and the whole Billie Jean thing. And I'm here to tell you, everyone that out there that loved it is the greatest thing ever, I'm just here to tell you, Hutch is the man. But that singing and the way he started that bit was not good. Forgetting your go-to song right away was not good. Your initial singing, not good. But what was good was that he rebounded from the mistake. That what was good is about, you know, two lines into the song when he really got singing and the whole team came in. That was incredible. But as much as I diss his physical singing, not that I could do it or not that I would be any better, but the fact that it just wasn't a primetime singing performance. But what was great were the dance moves. Go back and watch it multiple times. He was doing this like hopscotch with this move with his hand, like he was trying to parallel park back and forth. I don't know where he pulled those moves, but he went back to the same move, was playing hopscotch all around the dance floor in front of his teammates. Jared Davis ripped his shirt off and tried to throw it on stage like he was at an NSYNC concert or something. You had somebody in the front row, Chase Lucas or somebody like that, grabbed it out of the air and started whooping it over his head like a helicopter. Then you got guys like Aaron Glenn back there singing and dancing, which was incredible. You had like 3 or 4 of the defensive linemen, I think Charles Harris was in there, that were just on their feet going nuts and applauding this performance. So, again, the biggest thing I take away is that Hutch's singing needs work. But why would you be able to sing that anyway? It's a very odd song to sing as a man. It's a very horrible video. But the fact that the team just loved it so much and jumped in and were just going crazy. Like, go back and watch just how hyped that was. Like, when they get into that chorus and he starts going to the hopscotch parallel park dance, I mean, it's just off the charts. Funny and just empowering, because you just see how much fun these guys are having and how much they love 97 on their football team. I mean, that was just absolutely incredible. The other most incredible thing from Hard Knocks episode 1 was Deuce versus AG. Now, gosh, what do you say? Just the barking back and forth. I mean, the whole line about Deuce circling Aaron Glenn like a vulture was just great. There's just so many funny things to say about those two bickering back and forth. I mean, that just made it for me, because I know, when I would play basketball back in the day, I love getting under somebody's skin, especially if you're playing with friends. I love hitting a shot and telling you about it. I love jaw-jacking up and down the court. Got me going, usually got the other person going, all in good fun. And you can see that AG and Deuce, it gets them both pumping, it gets them both fired up. AG's wanting to call a better defense. Deuce is wanting his offense to make a play so he can tell him about it. Giving him congratulations that he stopped a screen. That was a great play by Rodrigo. That was funny. AG telling him, you should be happy. Gosh, there's just so many gems in there that you gotta love. And the fact that Deuce says, man, I love that man, but I want to like take his soul in between the lines is just not only so great for those two, but it just reminded me of how fortunate we are right now to have this coaching staff, And people are like, you won 3 games last year. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But you see the competitiveness of these guys. You see them getting players better. We saw that last year of guys that were on their last leg or couldn't play that all of a sudden got better. And I would expect another leap from players like that this year. There's just something to be said about that alpha competitiveness that's going to bleed through this football team, and already has, and it will continue to do so. So, the hope is that we'll just be able to keep AG for another year or two. Hope that Deuce, we want him to get a head coaching job, and we want him to do this, that, and the other, but we need him here with Swift for another year or 2. We need him here with that offense, getting everybody hyped. And, gosh, it was just incredible. So I can't wait to see them getting after each other more. But just laughed out loud on so many of those things where they were just getting after each other like 2 good friends would that, they love and they care about each other, but, man, they want to beat the hell out of the other guy and win the day every day. So that was awesome. And the best part is just seeing the practicing, seeing the behind the scenes. I think we'll get more on the players coming up. We'll also get more so much to see behind the scenes. Like, I can't wait to see the raw footage of them going up against the Indianapolis Colts coming up in those inter team practices. That'll be tremendous. So, who would ever thought this would probably be the one time, to be honest, maybe in my lifetime that the Lions will be on Hard Knocks. So I just tell everybody to drink it in and, make sure you pay that $15 or whatever it is to HBO, because you're not going to want to miss these shows. If you're a diehard Lions fan, they're going to be incredible. All right, let's finish up with this preseason game. Again, I'm not going to do some big rundown of like score for score, play for play, but just a couple of things I took from it. Like, the Lions, they're at home. They're playing an Atlanta Falcons team that's not very good, not projected to win many ball games. But preseason, you really can't get a feel because, all the different guys and types of players that are playing, and even coaches are doing things just to do them. It's not a talent versus talent, apples versus apples, type of thing. I did like what the Lions offense did, coming right out of the gate, going right down the field with a big long drive. We saw some hard running from Swag up the middle. We saw a very nice play action throw up over the top by Jared Goff. Now, my guy at Chops in the D, my buddy, I just got to remind you that this was another wobbler that was thrown. I mean, yes, it got there, and yes, it was like a 20-plus yard gain, but it looked like it got shot out of the sky. I continue to see wobbly ducks from Jared Goff, and, I'm rooting for the guy. I hope he plays well. But right now, I mean, it's, gosh, how do I say this? Based on the lack of spirals and some of the passes I see, I mean, it's debatable, and he might be able to, might be true that he can't throw. I'm hoping, I can really, if he throws a bunch of beautiful spirals and touchdowns, I can put that to bed. But there's a lot of hype going around about Jared Goff right now, and a lot of people, just saying he's going to do this, he's going to do that. I got to see it, And, again, he's my quarterback, so I hope he plays well. I hope he wins games. But these lack of bullet throws, as well as, you just got to see it when the lights are brightest. Can he make all the big-time plays that we're hearing about, or that he says he's going to make? We'll see. I hope so. And I have a lot of fun saying that line, because every other day I see a throw on Twitter where it's just it may get there, but it's one of the uglier throws I've seen in the National Football League. But Dan freaking Campbell says that's what he does best, is throw the football. So I'm conflicted, to be perfectly honest. Kool-Aid gimmicks, hashtag Kool-Aid gimmicks. But, that was really nice seeing him move down the field. And then Swift just being able to stop on a dime. I mean, you go back and watch that play. It's supposed to probably go up the middle. He absolutely just stopped, dead in his tracks, saw an opening to the left, excuse me, and Swifty just put it in extra gear that only he and a few others have, sped past the whole defense, and then got in the end zone. I love to see it. I would have loved to see him kind of dive for the pylon so he didn't take a big crack up top. He really got hit pretty hard, but he bounced up. People said he's been in the weight room. He's been putting on that strength. That was a nice strong run and a nice touchdown run from DeAndre Swizzle, as he's known on the show. So I loved all that. Got the offense in, went down, scored, got him out. Love that. Mr. Billie Jean himself, Hutch, as advertised. I mean, the first play, I think he's out there. He chases down a run play on the whole other side of the field and jacks up Mariota. Next play, he absolutely leaves the offensive lineman and just olays the man, and the guy didn't even touch him, and then he gets a beautiful TFL. My favorite part about that TFL is how he just snatched him with those two. Hutch wears those big white gloves with the white taped wristbands. It looks like the hamburger helper man, where he just snatched him with those two big white gloves and just slung him to the ground. Love that. Love to see it. I mean, again, for as much fun as I made with Hutch and his singing, I gave him props on the whole hopping back and forth, doing whatever he was doing with his arms. I mean, it wasn't as good. That wasn't even as good as the Michael Jackson dance move that he pulled after that TFL. That was pretty impressive, no doubt about it. His teammates love him. I love him. I can't wait to see this guy rush the quarterback this year. There's no question. Now, the defense had issues. There's no question about that. I mean, the Atlanta Falcons went up and down the field with Marcus Mariota. I mean, they didn't have, Kyle Pitts wasn't really out there doing anything. You had Drake London made like one play, and then he went out hurt. So you're getting beat by like Atlanta's, depth players, and they had it easy moving the football in the run game. They were able to, the linebackers really didn't seem to be very consistent or good for that matter. Corners, Mr. Okudah was out there, but on like a 3rd and 8, he gets roasted on the inside slant and is really nowhere to be found. So that wasn't that great. I mean, Tracy Walker seemed to be all over the field. He was my prediction to take a big step forward. I liked his play, but you still got, the Will Harris's, even my boy Deshaun Elliott seemed to be a step late on a few plays. And that D-line isn't ready to go yet when you don't have Pascal. You don't have I didn't see a ton. You don't have Levi doing his thing yet. Julian Okwara wasn't really out there. So you really didn't see a ferocious performance by any means from the defense. But, hopefully they can clean that up, because if the offense is good but your defense is still hard to watch, that's not going to be good for this football team. Like I said off the top, like it doesn't matter, if you win a preseason game or not. I mean, it really doesn't. It doesn't matter at all. I mean, it's preseason. Unless you're the Detroit Lions. My Lions, we can't take anything for granted, man. We can't, this game was a preseason. It doesn't matter. Doesn't care, whatever. I was pissed at the end of this ball game. And yeah, it's not the end of the world. I'm not going to tell you this was some big monumental and anything. But it just made me mad because David Blau, for as good as he played at times and made some throws, and Tom Kennedy put up a hundy and did all, we got 2 minutes left. You basically have to sit on the football to end this game. And there's something to be said to the Lions learning how to finish, learning how to win. And what happens? David Blau can't catch a shotgun snap with basically 2 minutes flat on the clock, just got a first down. He turns the ball over in his own end. If that's not bad enough, the Falcons are down to their last breath, 4th and I don't know how long, 4th and 12, whatever it is. Scrambled out. You can't get the sack. You can't do whatever. They throw up a prayer. And our cornerback, whoever that was, he's probably 4th, 5th stringer out there on the outside. He basically did a circle around the defender, then thought, hey, here's a good position. Let me stand behind the receiver in the end zone while he catches it right in front of me for the score to put them up. And then the Lions, of course, couldn't come back down and make enough plays to snatch the victory back. This is a very just dumb, deflating loss. I don't care preseason or not. This just felt like, how do you give it away? How do you give it away in that fashion? I wanted to not even mention it, but it really just irritated me. So, yes, the preseason doesn't matter. Yes, it really doesn't. Yes, I'm not too worried about it. But in the moment, I was annoyed because I knew, too, I was going to have to hear people utter the words SOL. I was going to have to hear people say, man, they found another way to lose a game by just dropping a snap. How ridiculous. It was ridiculous, and you should have put the foot on their neck and buried them, as Dan Campbell said, and just won that first preseason game at home. Instead, you gave it away. So learn how to finish, learn how to win, and stop finding ways to lose, whether it be preseason, week 4, week 10, or in the playoffs. Come on, man. Let's get this together. So this is when they're going to get it together. They're heading to Indy. You have some really spirited practices against the Colts. That preseason game, too, I believe is Saturday at 1 p.m., so I know all the loyal Kool-Aid drinkers will be watching that. We'll see if we get a ball game, or if this is one you don't see Goff, you don't see Swift, you don't see Chark, you don't see some of these same guys on defense that are nursing injuries. It could be a very vanilla ho-hum preseason game, but it is what it is, man. That's the NFL preseason. Like, they hype it up like everything else in the NFL, and then when you actually watch it, you're like, when's the real football start again? Like, when am I going to see my primetime guys for 4 quarters? Well, that happens on September 11th against the Eagles. I will be there wired up with some of my good buddies, getting after it and getting ready to drink that Kool-Aid, serve it up for the fans, and get a W against the Philadelphia Eagles. But until then, at least we got football every other week until basically 2023 hits. You got to love that. You got to love the hype around this football team. Gotta love what's going on with the Lions. Please make sure to check out Hard Knocks. Hit subscribe on this pod. We don't give you the same old. We try to give you some crazy rants and raves and sound drops and all that good stuff. So drink it in, everybody.
Drink it in, man.
Thank you so much for listening. I'll catch you next week right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Take care, everybody. I'm out.
Pack the bag, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions.
Drink it in, man.